We now delve into Allied Technologies. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Thanks once again for being here today. So Altech, Allied Technologies, it's a very big play. It's a big play in Africa. They are across various economies, various countries, various geographies. One of the favorites, but we're starting to see those earnings falter.
Exactly, and I think, again, if you look at it in perspective, it doesn't have a lot of internal strength when you take it against the market. It's dropped back quite a bit. It's high late last or last year, basically only really matched the high end at the peak of the market in 2000 and at the end of 2007 or so. It hasn't really gone there, and it's fallen back in the last year or so. And at its peak, it was overvalued. It's now only fairly valued, so you haven't really had the potential unlock. This really is a good company. There's a lot of, I think, good internal potential here, but we haven't really had the earnings growth to back up the valuations that were achieved in 2008, and it hasn't come through. And with faltering earnings, it does suggest, especially with the global economy looking as it's slowed down, this may well be a bit vulnerable.
It's fascinating. We know that in East and West Africa, not the best of news coming through for Altech, and this is where we're still seeing earnings coming through at suppressed levels, and purely because we know within the technology and internet space, particularly in East Africa, we're seeing price wars at this point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think they had to take an impairment cost of around 275 million, which affected the balance sheet quite substantially. I think, like Chris said, not going forward is the question with the stock that I'm asking myself. Not a bad dividend yield at 6.3%. But yeah, I think they've increased their revenue from about 5% to 9.7 billion. But yeah, I think cautiously, you've got to just look into this going forward, the exposure to Africa, where a lot of their business is coming from.
And we know they're still on the acquisition path, it seems, and this is what they've really been focusing on, and this is where their growth has come from. Can we expect a fair balance between organic and acquisitive growth for Altech?
I think so. I think, and Chris has made the point very succinctly, this share has underperformed for a period. They've paid some major school fees in terms of getting into East Africa telecoms. There's a lot of potential strength down the line. They've got 4,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable terrestrial from the coast into the land, into several countries in East Africa. They're laying another 2,500 kilometers of fiber optic cable in the next couple of years there as well. Their operation in Kenya, in Mombasa, in terms of data storage is coming online. They have the Kenya government, a number of big multinationals there. So they have taken a hit. They have had to impair their assets there. We've also had a problem in some of the other divisions, being the operation which produces the set-top boxes, UEC. They had to write off all that stock then. Now that we are getting the go-ahead for digital TV, that should be a very nice turnaround situation. I would expect some acquisitions to be made by Netstar in the course of time. They've looked at Brazil before. Perhaps that one is now ripe for a deal to come. The dividend was increased, which shows some confidence going ahead. In addition to that, Eleni, we've had two very important appointments made. First of all, Jeff Herberg, who is instrumental, or tried to turn around Multilinks
at Telkom, exactly. Now he's Chief Operating Officer.
Now he's the Chief Operating Officer. He's a guy who has Africa experience, who understands what's happening in a global context. And another gentleman called Willie Westerhuizen, who used to be a IT guy for Cisco in Africa and the Middle East. Those two guys will be reporting, the way I understand it, straight into Craig Venter, thus enabling Craig to look more at strategic stuff and these guys handling the operational side of things.
Okay, so Ron, hot or not for you then?
Cautiously hot, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Oliver?
No, not so hot.
Not so hot. Tell us why.
As I say, I think the share price reflects their performance of late. Going forward is what I'm concerned about.
Skeptical.
Yeah, I'm also not hot. I think it's a fabulous underlying company, but from an investment point of view, I think is going to underperform still for some time as they bed down their acquisitions and try and generate. But the platform there, if you're looking at much longer term, is there. It's a good company.
So as usual, we ask our guests to pick hot stocks for the show. And Oliver, let's start off with you. Your hot stock pick is Winhold.
Yeah, Winhold. You're going to shoot me for this, not very volatile. Bit of a small...
You got yourself into this trap at the beginning of the show by talking about volatility and lo and behold.
Okay, so this one, just a small company, 208 million market cap, PE ratio of 7.2, dividend of about 6%, net asset value of R1.99, trading at R1.64 at the moment. It's not one that's going to shoot the lights out, double anytime soon. But I think, it's got a high gearing, but they've consistently reduced that over the last couple of years. And I think going forward, they're in the plastic space, they're in mining, manufacturing, supplies. And I think going forward, they've got some good customers. They're not too adversely affected by the last downturn. And revenue it's just gone over 1 billion for the first time ever.
So buy and hold?
Buy and hold, don't trade.
Don't trade. Ron, your hot stock pick is Rand Merchant Insurance. We spoke about it a bit earlier.
Very nice,
Would you like to stay
for the reasons further? Again once given. Nice dividend yield, innovative growth by the original founders of RMH and the like. I see developments in the course of time, and I back the directors who have big shareholdings. Rembrandt has got a big shareholding in this, as well as RMH, and these guys are certainly value investors. So taking a sort of a 2 and 3 year view, I think we're going to see a lot happening strategically, and I think I see this as a nice value unlock going ahead.
So your hot stock pick, Chris?
Yeah, I've said Great Base and Gold.
Great Base and Gold.
No, as I say, for me it's an interesting one because firstly, as everybody knows, I'm a gold bull because of the.
We know you like physical,
sovereign,
though, so
the physical. I do like the physical, but I think the shares, generally, this is globally, gold stocks have really done particularly badly. And I think what we're going to see in the next phase of the gold price, when these sovereign debt issues start to come, more to the fore, in other words, when there's defaults actually come to the table. When Ireland,
I love the use of when and not if.
Yeah, well, when the Irish voters finally says enough, and the Greek voters eventually say enough, and send their politicians with mandates to actually give the bird to the rest of the European Union and the IMF, etc., we are going to have a systemic earthquake, and that's when either physical or ounces in the ground or whatever. Now, why I thought Great Base and Gold, I actually prefer the well-established players like Goldfields and Harmony, etc. But when you look at the issues around them, this is a new development out at Balfour. Now, although that's one of the operations, but the point is it's got no issues around it. It's not got water, acid mine drainage or silicosis or anything that's associated with it. So if you want something clean, but that particular deposit, if it was a great deposit, it would have been taken up long ago. It's been people have been fritting around. So I think this is a marginal pay. If you get a gold price above a certain level, you will see this start to run.
What about the usual suspects of costs, unions,
all
the other issues, and the fact that gold miners have battled to be profitable for the last 15 years or so because it's getting deeper and harder to mine the gold?
It's the issue of every single mine, whether it's gold or platinum or whatever. That's an old hoary chestnut you've got to actually evaluate. Have things stabilized, and is there growth
this
with
is based on
thing.
the view if the systemic earthquake of debt does then occur. Okay.
When it occurs.
When it occurs. Ron, I would like to get your view on Great Base and Gold. We've got a few seconds left.
Don't know all that much about it, Eleni. I'll give this one a pass.
You're going to give it a pass, and I'm sure you'll do your research on it. Has it got a bit of volatility for Oliver?
There is a bit of volatility as well, and that's what's quite nice.
Your view on that?
Yeah, no, I follow Chris's views on the gold price, so this looks good.